2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. You could turn $10 into $250. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/fan and use code FAN. That's code FAN at prizepicks.com/fan.
Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Welcome to another week of Picking with the Professor. That's right, where a history teacher and football fan tries to beat Vegas. Last week I was 2-2, and we'll see if we can get ahead of the pros this week. And I got a pro with me to help me figure it out. It's head odds maker Raphael Esparza from My Bookie. Rafi, welcome back to the C3 Panthers podcast and another episode of Picking with the Professor.
Thanks for having me on. I guess me and you are both are not on the IR since everyone else is on the injured reserve list after week 2. I guess me and you could probably play for a team.
There's a spot for us somewhere, I'm sure. And in this world right now, it would not surprise me at all. And last week, I don't know. What were your overall thoughts of last week when it comes to football, the spread, and betting? What were the patterns you saw? Obviously the injuries, but what are your just overall observations?
The books actually, the bettors actually got us back. We won in week 1, lost in week 2. Teasers crushed us. All the teams that had big spreads didn't either cover them, but we lost on teasers and parlays. So. We had some wins, we had some losses, but we took a little bit of a lump as odds makers. Again, it was just a weird week of week 2 NFL when you just break down. If you look at the games, how did the 49ers even complete the game? Let alone even win the game? It's just so many injuries that they had to suffer. It was week 2 was what 2020 was all about. So hopefully we'll rebound and get the bettors back. But it was a up and down. The Green Bay Packers probably was our biggest downfall. A game that we should have won. The 49ers covering hurt us pretty badly. Tampa Bay, that late touchdown against your guys' Panthers hurt us. So like I said, we gave the bettors probably got some money back that week 2.
I tell you, this is the bet I felt most comfortable with. Turned out to be the worst one, and that was the Chiefs going to the Chargers. They put in Justin Herbert. I told you last week I would have taken it at 13. 9 was healthy for me, and boy, that Chargers defense, which the Panthers is going to go play, really impressed me. That we talked about last week, the Packers. I had the Packers, and that worked for us. And the Panthers, boy, I was sweating bullets, my friend. I was sweating. I took the over in that, and I was sweating to the end. And you're right, man. Half a point. We covered it. So we're going to talk about, let's start. And I actually going to point this out, Rafi. I think you got to go on to mybookie.ag and look at week 3 odds. I cannot find the Panthers lineup there. I've looked.
Yeah, we're waiting.
And I've
We're waiting
looked
for
and I've looked.
injuries. That's why it's not posted yet. We're gonna wait for some more injury reports to come out. So we're gonna post that. I would think probably sometime in the next 24 hours, just because we've had a lot of people ask us where's the Panther number. We're gonna wait to see what that Friday injury report is. So I would not be shocked if we put it out tomorrow, right before the Miami-Jacksonville game.
Give us a sneak peek. What do you think it's gonna be? I know you can't tell us the real one, but where do you think you're sitting at?
I could guarantee you right now, if I hit that live button right now, because it's pretty much in the system, the charges are 6.5 and the total is 43.5. So
okay,
that will be the number that we hit click on and stuff like that. We're just gonna wait to see some more injury reports, especially on the Chargers. For the quarterback, but yeah, it's going to be 6.5 and 43.5.
I tell you, this is the Chargers, man, a litany of injuries, but this team overcame all of them last week, and I thought Melvin Ingram being hurt was going to be problematic. He came back out there and was still a monster. Their backup player, I forget his name. It's kind of a complicated name to pronounce. He's great. So that defense is no joke on the road. I'm staying away from that game. Also, just one more observation about last week. We were picking with the professor. You said stay away from the Falcons and the Cowboys game. Just sit back and enjoy it. And boy, was that not good advice. That game at the end, what did it do for you guys on the books? The Falcons blow a 20-point lead. How did that work for you guys? Dallas somehow wins the game, but the Falcons cover. Did you guys make some loot on that?
We lost on the total because for some reason everybody bet the over, which we're a little bit shocked on that just because of the way the Falcons offense kind of looked at week 1 against the Seahawks. So we lost on the total, 1 on the side because the Cowboys didn't cover. But probably one of the most entertaining game of the Sunday afternoon and late afternoon games. If you watch just the 49 or the Falcons Cowboys game and then closed out the evening with the Patriots Seahawks, those are the only 2 football games you watched. You had a pretty good day because those are 2 fantastic high scoring games.
Yeah. And one other thing before we get into this week, I told you it would not surprise me if New England goes into Seattle and opens it up. And it's not a 70-run game, like 70-run plays, but Cam Newton's opening the playbook up. I was so happy. I cried tears of joy to see Cam with the deep ball again. My man was throwing dimes.
Yeah, very impressive. And I told multiple people that he would probably keep that game close through his arm and not his legs, and that's what he did. He looked like MVP Cam Newton. And if he plays like that all season long, he's going to be 15 plus 17 million Cam Newton for his next contract for 2 to 3 years, or probably even bigger. So
yeah, 30. Go ahead and say 30 to 35, man. That's what you talk about.
I don't think he's going to get a long team deal. I would not be shocked if he signs like a 2-year, 3-year, something around it. I don't think no team is going to give him 4 or 5 just because. Let's face it, he is still going to be injury prone.
No, he's not. False, man. The Patriots are going to look. New England people are already calling me, messaging me, saying we love this guy. I said, I told you so. Go listen to the Cam Newton interview on Boston radio Monday morning. I forget the name of the show. He sounds so relaxed. He sounds so under pressure. Yeah. It's wonderful. I'm so happy for him. But each week what we do is we first focus on the NFC South. We don't have the Carolina number yet. You already got a sneak peek at what it likely will be with the Carolina number. But let's start with my favorite game of the week and what I think is kind of, I won't say a lock because, look, I told you I'm just a history teacher trying to beat Vegas. Chicago Bears at Atlanta Falcons -3. I know that people are dumping on the Falcons, but they put up serious offense each and every week. They are stinky Falcons, and I hate them, but I'm taking the Falcons -3 here. The Bears barely beat the Giants, even though the Giants did everything in their possible power to lose that game, and somehow that game was still close. Give me the Falcons. Where are you at, Rafi?
I agree. I like the Falcons. Mac is still as questionable as we speak right now for the Bears. So if he misses, that's a huge hole on that defense. So, yeah, I agree. I'm just not sold on the Bears' overall offense. I mean, really only scoring 17 points at home against the New York Giants. I mean, that ain't going to cut it when you're at home. I like the Falcons on this spot. Grant, they could put points up. And if it's a toe-to-toe, if you're going to tell me Matty Ice versus Trubinsky, toe-to-toe on offense, I'm going to take Matty Ice at home. So, yeah, I like the Falcons this spot. I'm not sold on the Bears.
Yeah, me either. And going on to Tampa Bay at Denver, another game I'm interested in. I'm looking at a lot of these games this week, and there's a lot of them I say, stay away, stay away. And for some reason, the NFC South is attracting me. I think week 3, Tampa Bay is starting to click, and their defense is legit. It's for real. And Drew Lock out. They're going to Denver. I understand it's on the road, but Denver's inexperienced they don't have the horses, or at least I don't know the names enough. Jerry Jeudy is not enough for me to bet on. Give me Tampa Bay -6.
Yeah, I mean, the public's going to be all over that as well. I would not be shocked if it moves off of 6, maybe put 6.5. I don't think it goes to a touchdown just because Tampa will be traveling to Mile High. But I think the betting public will be all over. Granted, the Denver Broncos, I know they're 0-2, but you know what the magic number they are? 2-0 against the spread. That's all that matters when you're trying to beat the book. So it's going to be interesting to hit. This is the one I told you to pass on the Cowboys-Falcons games. This is one of the ones I'm going to pass. Sit back and watch it because I've seen some weird games at Mile High.
Wow!
So I'm going to sit back. I'm going to sit back and watch this one. But I do believe Tampa Bay does win it. They have some. They got bit by the injury bug too. Pierre Paul questionable for knee. Defensive tackle Smith is also questionable. I think with a knee as well. So they got hit by the injury bug a little bit as well.
Denver just doesn't have the people. I mean, Cortland Sutton, right? I always confuse his name. I call him almost Kiefer Sutherland, basically. But is that I just don't trust the names on Denver at this point. I think the Bucs are really going to start to put it together. It has not been complete yet, and they did not look good against the Carolina Panthers overall. For some reason, I feel good about that game. But going on to the next NFC South game, this is the one I do want to stay away from. Green Bay Packers at the New Orleans Saints. I'm all in on the Packers right now. I think they are just rocking and rolling. I think they got kind of a complete team. They got a good run game. The defense is much improved. Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. But for some reason, I feel that New Orleans Saints at Oakland, which screwed me. They screwed me on I took the under on that, man. And the New Orleans Saints ruined me on Monday night. I feel like this is a trap for some reason. I feel good about the Packers. If I was going to put money on it, it would be on the Packers, but I don't want to do that in New Orleans. I know home field advantage doesn't mean much anymore, but this, to me, something reeks here. What are your thoughts on Green Bay at New Orleans?
If the Saints didn't play on Monday night at the Death Star, if this was like maybe the Sunday night game, I would say I like the Saints in this spot. But you're coming off a short week, and I just like the total. It's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. The total is 52.5. I don't know why it's not 53-54 because the Packers have scored 85 points in 2 games. And it's not like crazy. It's not like their defense has been shutting out. Their defense is giving up 55 points.
Yeah, you're right.
Games.
You're right.
I don't understand why this total is not a solid 54, which I thought it was going to come out to. So I like the over. I'm going to probably root for Aaron Rodgers just because I like the storyline. They draft another quarterback. People think it's going to be his last year. He's single. He's drinking tequila with three fingers after big wins. I think he has a big game against that tired Saints defense that the Raiders put up 34 points on.
Yeah,
so,
they made him look pedestrian. They made that defense look – I was so mad. And you know what? It felt good, though, because I hate the Saints. Dallas goes to Seattle. Dallas is Seattle's 5.5 point favorites. The Cowboys are dogs here. I don't like the Cowboys. If I was going to bet this game, I'm thinking Seattle. I don't know if it's not one that I'm going to pick this week, but Russell Wilson is zeroed in, and I don't like him. He played for NC State for a minute, and I'm sorry, I'm from East Carolina University, ECU. There are kind of our next-door neighbor rivals, the big brother, and I've never pray for Jesus, Russell Wilson. He throws a prayer up, it's answered, but he's the best in the business, and I'm sorry. I don't know how you could take Dallas here.
Yeah, me either. I mean, MVP Russell Wilson right now, because he's my vote for the MVP. Landing that 5.5, I think the betting public will probably bet this.
That's friendly. Is that not friendly?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Dallas is 0-2 against the spread. Their defense has looked horrible. And how much did that come from behind win? It left them in the tank for this game. I know it's a later game, but this is at Seattle. It's not like you're at Jerry's World. This is outside. I know the 12th man is not going to be there, but it's an outside game, home game for Seattle. Give me the Seahawks, because right now they've just been rocking and rolling. They're the best team, I think, in football right now.
Let's move to the AFC here. A team that I have, and one of the problems I think that us betting public have is we have rooting interests, and you guys are trying to be unbiased in this, but I just am not convinced that the Steelers are great. I am convinced that the Texans are not great, though. -4. I don't know what I like about this game. I don't like any. I'm not taking the spread here. Some reason I would not place this wager, but if I had to, I'm taking the under. Texans and Steelers. Are the Steelers going to put up massive points? Because I feel like their defense could give the Texans problems.
I think their defense got a lot of ridicule for letting the Broncos score 21 points. So I think the Steelers' defense is going to want to come out and show a better game than what they did in Week 2. And this play is all going to be if Tunsil's playing for Houston and if Watt is playing for Houston. Because if those two guys are not 100% or both out, then, boy, this number is probably going to jump to Pittsburgh 6 or 7. I like Pittsburgh in this spot. I think their defense probably, like I said, is reading the paper clippings right now and saying how bad they played with Denver. So I like Pittsburgh in this spot. I think they can compete in the AFC, but that defense needs to play like they did against the Giants.
If you had to, would you take the over or under in this game? I think it's the under.
I would probably lean towards the under, but I probably would pass on the total myself.
Okay. All right. One other one is I'm not messing with it, but the Giants. The Giants at home versus the 49ers. The 49ers are road favorites, -4.5. I'm not going to mess with it. I know the Giants are 0-2, and they stink. They're terrible. But they didn't lose tremendously against the Bears. Or is there a little recency kind of bias here? I just don't trust the 49ers. So many injuries with the 49ers. Is this kind of the trap here? If I had to, I'd probably take the Giants +4.5, and that's not – I mean, you'd have to put a gun to my head.
This is one of those games where just because there's an NFL game on TV does not mean you need to bet it. That just happened in this game. There's
and if the odds maker is telling you that, listen.
On both sides of the question, on both sides of the ball, there's question marks. Giants, so many injuries. 49ers defense shot up. Giants, who's going to run the ball? It's just too many question marks. Just sit back and read the box score at the end of the game. There's so many other games at 1 o'clock you can watch.
All right, this is a weird one to me. The Jets on the road +11. I hate the Jets are the worst team in the history of football. Honestly, I mean, they are putrid. How do you, though? 11's a lot. 11's a lot. I just don't know. I think Indy could cover this, but I am not taking 11 points. I'm staying away from this one as well.
Me either. I couldn't lay 11 with Rivers. Granted, they're at home, but again, at the same time, I couldn't play the Jets either. So Here's another one. Us odds makers are going to be big Jets fans because there's going to be tons of teasers and money line parlays and survivor pool bets with the Colts. So I hate to say it, at 4:05 Eastern Standard Time, I will be singing Jets, Jets, because I can guarantee you we'll need them big.
Yeah, let's keep rocking and rolling with the Tennessee Titans at Minnesota. Minnesota has not looked good in these opening weeks. This is, I would take the Titans on the road here, but the Titans have played close. Every game has been a squeaker for them, I feel like. Is this one of those trap games? At some point, Kirk Cousins will have some touchdowns. Is Minnesota as bad as we think they are?
I think they squeak out a victory here because I think that saves Kirk Cousins' starting job, the head coach or something. But I think this is the one that you either play the home dog or stay away, because I don't know if you can lay the 3 on the road of Tennessee with the Minnesota team that's just reading the news saying what happened to this team. You're supposed to compete with the Packers in this division. You're 0-2. Already lost one home game to a division rival, a Packers. So either play the home dog or just don't play it at all, is my gut.
All right, my favorite game of the week was the Falcons. I'm taking the Falcons, but this is my sneaky favorite here, and we're going to close on this one. Washington football team, +7. Give them to me as they go into Cleveland. Washington's defense and that defensive line is no joke. Ron Rivera loves to grind the clock down. The Washington football team is not as bad as I think made out to be. And they in Arizona, while the numbers at the end did run it up in that first half, it was not as out of reach as you would think. I don't love the Cleveland Browns. They continue to be something I'm not going to believe in. Give me Washington at +7. Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, because you know what? The Cleveland Browns are 1-4 against the spread as a favorite, and I can't believe they're a touchdown favorite against a team that plays really, really, really good team defense. So give me Washington this spot. I think Cleveland wins by maybe 4 points or less, but I think Washington covers this touchdown.
Listen to that. A regular history teacher and a pro agreeing here. Rafi, I'm going to let you go here, but tell me, what's the sucker bet this week?
Well, I mean, the sucker bet, everyone's going to tease, everyone's going to parlay the Colts, because you just said it. The Jets, Jets, Stink, stink. So that's a team that we're going to be rooting for. I'm going to be wearing my green and white while I watch this game, because I can guarantee you this game is going to determine if my wife gets presents for Christmas or she's getting coal for Christmas, because this game will be heavily bet on the Indianapolis Colts game. So would not be shocking, because we're still in 2020. Maybe the Jets pull out only a 3-point loss.
Holy moly. All right, Raphael Esparza, head odds maker for My Bookie. Tell them what they can do if they want to lay a little cheddar on the games, where they go, and how do they do it?
Yeah, jump over to mybookie.ag, full rank of week 3 NFL games ready to go. You know what else starts this week? The SEC football starts this week as well. So college football, a whole bunch of games on Saturday as well. Thursday night football, a battle in Florida. So jump over to mybookie.ag, get that sign-up bonus right now, and enjoy the site, as we have plenty of options to jump on.
Wonderful, man. Thank you again for your time, and we're going to catch up next week. And we're going to see how the professor's doing against Vegas. He's doing okay. He's even right now. Maybe I'll be ahead next week. Raphael, thank you again for your time.
Nah, problem. Take it easy. Have a fantastic rest of the week.
Wonderful. Thanks again, man. All right, guys. So we're in week 3. Christian McCaffrey down hurts us as Panther fans. Tough games right here. And last week I was interested in overs and unders, and that became scary. And it kind of seems like this is that the over seems to be the big play this week, or this new COVID season. Surprisingly, we thought that these offenses would be behind, but they're not. So I'm going to give you my 3 picks. I'm 2-2 so far. A history teacher trying to beat Vegas. I need your help, guys. Jump in the comments section. Tell me who you think the play is this week. What the play is this week. Is it overs and unders? What game is it? Here are my 3 picks. And the one I'm kind of most confident about is the Falcons -3 hosting the Chicago Bears. And while the Chicago Bears are 2-0, I'm not intimidated by them. And yes, the Falcons stink. They suck. But they put up points. 0-2, Dan Quinn trying to keep his job. Not going to keep it likely. The offense has been prolific, though. So give me the Falcons -3. The Bucks, they go on the road to Denver. Drew Lock is injured. Cortland Sutton injured as well, out for the season. Drew Lock is the one that concerns me the most. Is that I know people talked about Von Miller earlier. Drew Lock was actually starting to get this team moving, it felt like. I actually thought Denver was going to be better than many people anticipated. But the Bucks, I think, their defense is legit. And their offense has yet to click. That's the truth, is that they have been good. They haven't even been good, right? But they're 1-1 now. Tom Brady on a mission, on the road. I think this is a game they win. I think they win it comfortably. So give me the Bucks -6. Here's a fun one for me. The Washington football team on the road, Cleveland. I'm not scared of Cleveland if I'm Washington. And I looked at that Washington game. Now, I haven't watched it as closely as I want to. But I watched the first half pretty well. And yes, Arizona ended up putting the smackdown on these mugs. But Washington's defense is nothing to be played around with. They were able to move the ball in many cases. On this team, the Browns. Come on. The Browns. I think almost Washington may go in there and win this game outright. So I'm comfortable with the 7 points here. And when I say comfortable, I'm just a history teacher trying to beat Vegas. I need you guys' help. You can help me by subscribing to the channel, right? The C3 Panthers podcast, the longest Panthers podcast out there, every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. You can call into the show, 228-5098. 252. Let me give you the area code first because I know you homies ain't in Charlotte. In Greenville, actually. 252-228-5098. We're here live every Tuesday night. We also have Picking with the Professors. We're dropping on Thursdays, as well as scouting. The scouting report this week, we met with the guys from the Charger Chat podcast. It was fun. It's live. It's already up on the YouTube channel. I'm going to get it out. iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, wherever you guys are at. So, 2-2 against the spread. Hanging out with Raphael Esparza, give me a little advice. Can this history teacher beat Vegas? I need y'all's help. Jump in the comments. Tell me which games I missed, where I'm right, where I'm wrong. Do you like the Falcons -3? Do you like the Bucks -6? Do you like Washington +7? Hey, until next week, let your bets win and be merry. I don't know. It's just a schmuck trying to figure it out. Check you guys out. Keep pounding.